What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the In the Shed podcast. This is episode 3. I'm Judson Miller, and I'm here with my bud Curtis Burbage.
What's up?
Yeah, man, this is exciting. I'm blown away with the outpouring of love and support that we got.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. I mean, really, the feedback we've been getting has been pretty good. So, I mean, we both appreciate everybody's support on this.
Yeah, for real, guys. I really appreciate that. And for us to go from just thinking this was going to be a goofy thing that we do to having almost 200 views on YouTube in a day, that's crazy.
Yeah, definitely.
So we decided we'd take this thing like super legit. We returned all of our USB mics that gave us so much issues, and now we bought a soundboard, an audio mixing console. We've got all gold-plated XLR cables running all over the place now, a bunch of fancy mics, new mic stands. So we decided we were going to go ahead and get real with it. So got a couple ideas bouncing around. First of all, I want to tell you a little bit about our setup here. So we've got a table, and Curtis and I are obviously social distancing. He's not sitting in my lap. We're not sharing one mic.
Nope.
No,
No
unfortunately. So we've got two mics. We're on opposite ends of a table, and when we get ready to bring in our guests and stuff, which we've got some lined up already. I had to buy a third mic. Already had some people that wanted to come on here and fuss at us. So should be a lot of fun. Curtis, what's going on with you, man?
Man, good start to the week. We had soccer practice start back up Monday. I got two teams. One I coach I coach my son Jackson's at 6, and I coach my daughter Maggie's at 7. So I got to run from one field to the next, but hey, so far first practices look good. And, we had practice tonight, but it got canceled because of all that wet field and stuff. But it was a good turnout. Everybody did good the first time.
That's awesome, man. Where do I need to go ahead and get my money on y'all? I mean, I feel like you've got a strong chance to repeat. Like, I got to get some cash on this.
I'll have to let you know on that right now because everybody's pulling against the champ. You know how that goes.
Of course.
So I mean, but hey, it was funny. We had a guy over there. He's always busting my chops and stuff. He's a parent. Well, I drafted this kid this year, and at the end of practice, I pull all the kids together for a little huddle or whatever, and I'm like, and my daughter's there, and she every time I say something, she kind of rolls her eyes at me, but. I said, yeah, y'all are really lucky kids that have me and Coach Willie as my assistant. He's awesome, dude. As y'all's coaches, because, a lot of people don't get this lucky. Y'all hit the Powerball with coaches. And her and my daughter whispered to one of the other kids from last year, says, I think we were the ones on the field playing, not him.
If only she knew, man. This is all Curtis right here.
Hey, I love it, man. It's fun, though, and my son's team's got a few kids that's never played. Actually, about half his team's never played before. And, I mean, they're the ones that kind of give you, like, this thing of, like, this is going to be so hard. But when the season gets going and stuff and as it progresses, they're like your success stories. Because you watch them, you watch them being scared, don't even want to run near the ball, to, like, scoring. And you're like, geez, man. Like, I helped make that happen.
I did this. It was me.
Oh, I tell you, man. It's like, this is just like winning a championship when you get a kid like that and you make them, or, that person, do better.
Yeah, I bet that's super rewarding. That's actually one thing that I loved about, being a scoutmaster and a coach as well. You see somebody that was struggling and just out of nowhere that light bulb clicks and they're running the show now.
It's amazing, man. It really is a good feeling. I mean, I had a kid last year. I mean, I would have lost money on this kid because I mean, the ball would come near him and he would it's almost like someone threw a punch at him.
Wow.
He would tense up, but he ends up scoring like 2 games in a row, and it was like my success story.
Yeah.
I tell everybody about this kid. I was like, you wouldn't believe what he was before, but it was awesome. So
it's not easy to score in soccer either.
No, and especially in that group, it's like there's no refs. It's just us.
Really?
The coaches are the refs, and that's why it's hard to go from coaching him to my daughter because they have refs, and I can't be on the field with that team. So I'm like a real coach over there, and it's kind of hard.
Man, hey, what? I wanted to ask you. I've been thinking about what got you into coaching. Was it just having kids, or?
Well, so I've always wanted to. I always wanted to coach, but just didn't really think I'd be a good one. So just because of how I am, my sense of humor and stuff. But we filled out for my son to play soccer. He said he wanted to play sport. So my wife says, "Do you want to help coach?" I said, "Yeah, put me on the paper to help coach." Well, I get a call from the city. He says, "Hey, Mr. Burbridge, we see you want to help coach." And I was like, "Yeah." The lady's like, "Okay." I said, "When would practices be?" She goes, "When you want them?" I said, "Mondays are fine." "Okay, Mondays and Wednesdays." So I was like, "Cool." And she was like, "You need to pick an assistant and a team mom." And I'm thinking to myself, "Damn, this head coach gonna be pissed. I'm getting to do all this." But I said, "Well, isn't the head coach supposed to pick that?" She said, "What do you think you are?"
Oh,
and I
wow.
was like, "Oh, shit."
So you just got thrown in the fire right off the bat.
I was so scared. I'm not going to lie to you. So I called my wife. I was like, "Guess what, hon?" She's like, "What?" I said, you want to guess who Jackson's head coach is?" She's like, "Who?" I go, "I'll put it to you this way. You've been out with him a few times. You know him really good." She's like, "Who?"
That could be anybody.
I know, right? That's what I was saying. You mean like when she says "who," I was like, "Jesus, huh?" And I was like, "Me," and she's like, "You don't know nothing about soccer." I'm like, "Hey, I can't back down from this challenge."
Who does, though?
I mean, I don't really know many people who do. We always was basketball players or football
Right.
or whatever. I never played football, but everybody I knew either did either or.
Yeah, I played soccer when I was little, and I couldn't tell you anything about it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's it seems like such an easy sport, but then you get into the rules, and it's crazy how in depth it is.
That's what my daughter's team is. It's got rules, and you draft players, and they have like a little tryout, and that's how you grade them, and then you go draft them. And I really feel confident about the team this year I drafted. I mean, I feel like I did a good job. Even my assistant was like, "Dude, you picked another ringer, man." I was like, "Let's see."
Next thing you know, Bill Belichick will have you out there.
Hey, I'm like the Belichick or Saban. I'm doing that one for you because I know you're Alabama.
Hey, man, roll tide. I appreciate it.
I'm like the Saban of picking soccer teams. I feel, I feel like I peak magic.
It's crazy that it takes a good keen eye to do that.
Yeah. I mean, and I got some kids that I feel like might have gotten a lower grade than what they deserved, but I picked them, and they were like showing out that first day. So I felt great about my picks.
Man, that's awesome.
So how about you, man? How about what got you into doing the Boy Scouts?
So I grew up in Boy Scouts, loved it. It was one of my favorite things. I actually earned my Eagle Scout in Troop 204 at 14,
Nice.
and stayed in, for a while until I was probably 17, and then I got out of there, and I was working one day. I think I was 23 at the time, and one of my friends from Scouts was joining when I was leaving Scouts. He approached me, and he was talking about, telling me about the troop and everything, and I'm excited to hear about it. And he was like, "Hey, man, we don't have a leader right now. Would you mind just taking us camping?" And I was like, "Dude, I don't know anything about being a scoutmaster." And he was like, "No, man, it's not like that. Just take us camping. Let's go have fun." So I was like, "I can do that. I can put my name on the form. I can go out there and set everything up, and I'll be the adult on there. But you guys have to run it. Like, I don't know what to do."
Yeah.
So I get out there, and there's 3 older guys that are kind of my core dudes that are running it, and it's all coming back to me, how to do that kind of stuff. And so we went on our first camp out. Man, I had so much fun. I was hooked, and I was like, "Man, we got to find y'all a scoutmaster." And one of the boys was like, "We did. You're our scoutmaster. Like, we already signed you up. Like, we did all the paperwork. My mom signed everything."
No.
Yeah, it was crazy. So it kind of fell in my lap too. And man, I had so much fun.
That's cool, man.
It was amazing because those guys, watching them grow like that.
Yeah.
And they're constantly met with the negative adversity that comes with being a scout.
Oh yeah.
And they just water off a duck's back, man. And they just grew and grew as men, and that's just cool to watch.
Oh yeah.
Kind of the same thing you're talking about with soccer. You watch somebody and you're like, "Man, they're struggling," and then next thing you know, they're running the show.
Yeah.
And
so it's rewarding.
It is, and I had a bunch of them that earned their Eagle Scout, which to me
Nice.
is a big deal.
Yeah. Well, that's an accomplishment. Like, people don't give it enough credit.
Yeah.
But because they don't really realize. I mean, I was in Boy Scouts for a little while, not long, just enough to get in there and screw around a little bit. I didn't take it as serious as I should have, but people don't understand what the steps are to become that.
Yeah.
And that's a commitment.
It's less than 1% of all scouts that join become an Eagle Scout.
Yeah.
And you probably can already tell from the podcast, but I've had a lot of jobs.
Yeah.
I like to bounce around. I want to do new stuff. And I've never been to a job interview where they didn't ask me about that.
Yeah.
You know, there's tons of other stuff in my resume that's huge and awesome. And, you know, not to pat myself on the back there or anything, but the one thing that always comes to is that Eagle Scout, because it's the type of thing that, you know, people don't necessarily know everything about it, but they know that it's important.
Yeah.
And they know the weight that it carries, so they know that I've put in the time and the work and the effort to earn that. And so, yeah, to watch those guys go through there and do it. And one of my scouts, I don't know if we should be like mentioning other people's names on here. I don't know how people feel about that, but one of my scouts actually at his Eagle Scout ceremony, he gave me, so there's they have these boxes, these memorial boxes, and you give out different pieces of it to the people that were important to you.
Yeah.
So he actually gave me the pen commemorating me as one of his best, you know, one of his most important people to get him there. So, and I mean, that's to get that was a huge honor for me.
Oh yeah.
I've got that thing still in my room, and keep it. I had it on my dash of my car forever.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I'm gonna lose that. I'm gonna take it to the room.
Yeah.
Put it in the box of important stuff. So yeah, man, I loved it, and you know, kind of the same thing. You know, it's funny how much of our life is paralleled, and you know, bringing that point up, I owe you an embarrassing story.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to bring it up, man. 'Cause you like when you okay, so you texted me the other night. You said, hey, and I was like, okay, here comes a good idea. I was like, I wonder if you got an embarrassing story. Then you said, my brother Preston's got a cool embarrassing story. I'm like, damn. I was like, all right. You know, I was hoping you're gonna, but then all of a sudden you text me later.
Yeah.
It says, I got my story. I'm like, hell yeah. So I want to hear it.
Yeah, you know, the more I think about it, it was pretty embarrassing, and it was just a compounding thing. So let me crack this open real quick, and we'll get to it. So at the one of the grocery stores in Tuscaloosa, where I'm from, it's called Winn-Dixie.
Mm-hmm.
They're the beef people. Well, they were the beef people, you know, before. So I was walking up to. I'd parked my car, and I was walking up to Winn-Dixie and realized, hey, man, I got to take a dump. So...
It always ends with shit.
Right. So I was in a group chat talking with some guys, and it hit me like a ton of bricks. I just eaten at a place called Baumhauer's, which is a wings place in Tuscaloosa. That's one of the most famous ones there. Bob Baumhauer owns it. He played... at the university, and then he also played in Miami, I think it was. Anyway, not important. But anyway, it's his wing restaurant.
Yeah.
So, but for some reason, man, their buffalo sauce tears me up. So I parked the car. I'm going in there to get stuff, and I'm like, oh, I'm in trouble.
It's on now.
So, yeah, I look like Donkey Kong. So I know you can't see me on this podcast, but I'm a big boy, about 6'3", 375 right now. At the time, I was about 330. So I'm I'm talking on my phone, and I'm walking in, and they had just just cleaned the glass doors.
Oh,
So I walk straight into the glass door, knock it off its hinges, then it breaks.
No, dude.
And so I trip over the door and fall down.
Ooh.
And dookie all in my pants.
No.
I think that I really pushed this out of my whole mind.
That's something you don't normally forget. So I think you buried that deep.
Yeah, I buried it real deep. And so thinking about it the other day, I was like, oh man, I don't know if I can even tell this story. Like, because my grandma started listening.
Mm-hmm.
I put it on Facebook the other day, and she's gotten on Facebook. And it's so funny to watch her comment on everything. It's like, this is my grandma on Facebook, just run around. So she watched the show, or listened to the show.
Yeah.
And said she loved it. She's just tuning out all the bad language and the poop stories. So, Grandma, sorry about that. But yeah, I loaded them up, man.
Grandma, I have a disability called Tourette's, so that's the reason why I cuss. Okay, so I mean, don't take me too serious when I cuss. But I mean, I think we kept the cussing actually to a good minimum. You know what I mean? Like, really, we haven't dropped no F-bombs or nothing like that I know of. You know what I mean? So, I mean, I think we've done pretty good. But, yeah, we try to watch it.
And I have to stand in solidarity with Curtis and cuss. I don't want him to have to be the only one. I'm here for you, buddy.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Anyway, after that happened, I literally lived behind this Winn-Dixie. So I go there all the time, 3-4 times a week sometimes. So I busted their door, knocked it off the hinges, and doo-dooed myself. And so everyone's staring at me. So I get up and brush the glass off of me. And I'm like, I'm so sorry. And I turn around and run off. But it's summer in Alabama, so I'm wearing gym shorts. So there's dookie falling out of my pants all the way back to my car. It was a rough day. It was a rough day.
That was a pretty good one there. I gotta give you credit on that one. I didn't see that one coming, dude.
Yeah,
you told me the Winn-Dixie, and you said, "Mom, you tell you about the Winn-Dixie story." I didn't expect it.
Right? Yeah. I mean, you think like, oh, he's must have been shopping for food, which I was. But yeah, that's So that was pretty embarrassing.
That's pretty good though.
And so I would like to lead in our next segment with that. So I want to thank everybody. Again, we had tons of outpouring of love and support. I had people emailing me on the In the Shit 69 email. I had people texting me, Snapchatting me, everything. And it was a lot of fun to get to hear people, talk about how much fun they were having listening to it. And what I also enjoyed was people pitching different segments.
Yeah.
So things that we could add to the show to be, a complete thing that we would leave there. One of the ones I got from one of my friends in Alabama was a segment where we would talk about something good going on in the world or with us or something like that, and we would call it the good shit.
Okay.
So if you don't mind, I'd like to go ahead and throw some good shit out here real quick.
Throw it out there, man.
Yeah, so this one goes out to my Aunt Erin. Oh, gosh, we're not supposed to say names. My Aunt E. Nobody knows who that is. But this woman is incredible. She raised 2 incredible kids. One of them is a genius who's in pilot school right now. The other one is a genius that's going to be playing in the major leagues in 3 years. Wow. I mean, the kid he can't do anything but throw strikes and strike batters out. He's insane. And, I mean, I take that back. He can do tons of stuff.
Yeah.
But what he does really well is strike batters out. So, not only that, she's been a fantastic mentor to me. She's been just an overall cool lady. Well, last year, she got breast cancer. And let me tell you something. She did not let that stop her. She said, you know what? It's going to take more than breast cancer. And she kicked its butt, dude.
Hell yeah.
I'm talking about, she went through everything. And it was cool to talk to her while she was going through it because she was sharing the experiences. And my boss that I was working with at the time, she was also going through breast cancer. So it was, and first of all, I know we said no F-bombs, but F cancer.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to put that out there right now. And yeah, so it was cool because I would share with my boss, the stuff that my aunt was telling me about. So anyway, she beat cancer. And today we find out that she has become the chief operating officer of a company called SoberSys. So people that are dealing with alcohol troubles, that they have a program that helps you get clean.
Nice.
Kind of sober up and kick the habit, which to me hits really hard. Alcoholism is something that I'm very passionate about. And healing from that. So I mean, this woman's just literally I swear next week I'm gonna get a text from her. And it's going to be a picture of her on Mount Everest or something. Yeah. And she's going to be like, well, my walking group was just kind of walking around and we bumped into some people that were going to climb Everest. So I just tagged along. And I was like, how could you be such a cool lady? So,
I mean, you got some people, man, that just live life. You know what I mean? Like they get bad news and they push on through it.
Yeah, it doesn't even affect her. Yeah. She's just like, all right, let me talk to the manager. I'm done with this. Yeah. I'm out of here. So yeah, you got anything good going on with you right now, man?
I mean, like the soccer. Like I said, the soccer was like my good shit. It was my good shit. But going back on what you said about your aunt, okay, my kids. I got 5 kids, and they're all wonderful, right? 3 of them are step, which I hate that word because I've been with them for so long. But at the end of the day, they are stepchildren. I don't want to step on nobody's toes with that. But I mean, I know I'm stepfather, but still, like I said, I raise them like their mom, love them like their mom. But my 11-year-old stepson Wyatt, he he's one of those people, like, he lights up a room. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
His personality, his attitude, he doesn't see bad in people, and I love that about him. And I always tell everybody, hey, everybody could use a little Wyatt in their life, like, be more like him. You know, he's a good kid, but it's good to hear stories like that on people who beat stuff and don't let it bring them down, man.
Yeah.
And, hey, hats off to her, man. What would you say? You call her Annie?
Well, yeah, that's what we're gonna call her.
Yeah, I call her Annie.
But she's, it's cool to see people that continually push through.
Yeah, I mean, you have a lot of people that it brings them down. I mean, like, that was like me battling with, being a high school kid, getting told, hey, you have Tourette's. Well, when you look at it, I wasn't dying.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I wasn't. But being a high school kid, everybody looking at you because you're twitching all over the place. It was rough.
Being different at all in high school is different.
It was really,
and everybody's
rough.
different.
Yeah,
So.
Yeah, it was, man. But to me, it was like they told me I had brain cancer. You know what I'm saying? That's what it was like back then to me. I took it kind of rough, but I pushed through it. And well, like I said, I woke up one day and I was like, man, the hell with this. I'm gonna live.
Yeah.
And just went on. But
nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I mean, you got a lot of people, and I've actually taught the families that they have a child that gets diagnosed with Tourette's. And somebody would know me, hey, I know a guy, and I'd go in and talk to the family, kind of, mentor them a little bit on both sides of the ball. Like, hey, this is how you handle it with them. You can't call them out in front of people, because it's embarrassing to them. And, the kid kind of talked to them about how to feel, and you're not different than everybody else. You're more awesome. And,
yeah,
so
that's important, too. I mean, just to have gone through that.
Yeah, my parents didn't have that. They didn't have that. They didn't have Google.
Right.
They had tough love.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, that's cool that you say that. It is really interesting, the whole Tourette situation, because there's so many things that we didn't know about. You look at celiac disease.
Yeah.
Nobody had any clue what that was. It was just, hey, your tummy hurts, get over it.
Yeah.
And now we realize it's like a real deal here.
Yeah.
That's one thing. Another thing, mental health becoming so prominent right now. People are actually delving into that and studying it. And you look at MRI scans of the brain when, you look at a normal, healthy brain versus one that's depressed.
Yep.
And they don't look anything alike.
No.
Like, you wouldn't think it's the same brain at all. And so, obviously, it's difficult for people to say, you're just sad, get over it. I mean, it's easy for people to say, you're just sad, get over it. But in real situations, you're sick.
Yeah.
In the same way that, you get the flu and get a cough, your body is fighting that. It's different.
Yeah.
That's why your nose runs to try to push stuff out of there. And it's the same way with like a depressed brain.
Does the flu even exist anymore?
No, man, we killed the flu.
COVID ate it, man.
Right. Yeah, it's because, I mean, the flu's gone. It's because everybody's wearing masks and washing their hands, right?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, the flu took a break. COVID says, scoot over, watch this.
Right, hold my beer.
Yeah, hold my beer.
I feel like for a while there last year, every month was like, hold my beer.
Yeah.
It was like, guys, you hadn't got to one up each other. Like, let's just have a good summer. No, it was like a bad Thanksgiving dinner with all the family.
Oh man, it sucked because my parents ended up catching it. Or no, my parents were exposed to it, or actually a lot of my family was exposed to it around Christmas. So I didn't get, we didn't get to see each other like normal, and that was different for us, And we all live right here, but we got over it. New Year's, we all got together and enjoyed it. It was kind of nice having Christmas at home,
Yeah.
Not having to go to my brother's and tote all those kids up there.
I can imagine. In your 15-passenger van.
Gee, man. We load down that expedition, dude.
I heard that. Yeah, Thanksgiving and Christmas were a little bit different than normal. Like I was saying, my older cousin on my aunt's older son, he's in pilot school, and they wouldn't let him leave.
Wow.
So I was really looking forward to getting to hang out with that dude.
Oh, yeah. You're the ones in pilot school.
And so we wound up eating outside, which was fantastic because the weather was perfect.
Yeah.
Like it always is in Alabama. And
I ain't never been. I mean, I rode through Alabama. And it was nighttime. I don't know about the weather, man.
No, man, the weather's wild in Alabama. If you don't like it, just stick around for 5 minutes. It's kind of like Charleston. I hate to get off topic so quickly. I know we talked about this last time, but this morning we were all bundled up.
Yeah.
Everybody's under the heaters like meerkats. And then about 3 o'clock, I was shedding layers, man.
Oh, I know.
Sweating like crazy.
See, I walk around in short sleeves. I'm always hot. That's like my wife. She is like cold, man, all the time. And she snuggles up. She's like, God, why are you so warm? I'm like, I don't know. Because, I walk around in shorts or something like that. You know? No shirt on. I'm like, hey, it's too hot in this house. So
yeah, I definitely hear that, man. I feel like I'm super warm-blooded. And it's just, I'm always hot. But yeah, it's when the wind's whipping on you and stuff, it's a little different.
That's why we always get sick, though. It's always hot and cold, hot and cold.
Yeah.
That's why everybody down here gets sick all the time.
Yeah. I mean, I got home and set up the new studio and everything, which, by the way, I know I mentioned earlier, we're in a new studio.
It looks amazing.
Yeah, we're not in the dining room now, so it's pretty cool. But I got it all set up because I was so excited. Mm-hmm. And I was going to go meet my realtor for dinner tonight and realized that I was running a little late. Whoops. And but yeah, so I just threw on a t-shirt and shorts because I was like, it's hot outside. Mm-hmm. And I took off out the door in my Crocs. And, if you ain't crocking, you ain't rocking. But I got outside and I was like, uh-oh. But it was too late then. I was already running late. So I got in the car and headed on over. But, yeah. What were we talking about before that? Oh, Thanksgiving. So, yeah. we did Thanksgiving outside, which was awesome. Weather was perfect. But we were all, had a good bit of distance between everybody. And I didn't realize how much it sucked because I'm such a social person. Mm-hmm. And my job at the time was literally to go to apartment complexes and hang out with people. Huh. Like with AT&T, I would go and hang out with the leasing agents. Yeah. And I would throw events for the residents. And so when COVID hit and they said, hey, you're not allowed to visit any properties, I was like, okay, yeah, I'll take some time off. I'll be able to hang out. Not the case, my dude. I was stir crazy. I learned how to make bread. Yeah. I learned how to make pizza dough, so I made a lot of pizza dough and ate like all the time. So I put on so much weight last year in COVID. But
COVID, I think led to a lot of divorces.
I'm sure it did.
Like from what they were saying, like domestic violence was up big time. Now I don't know a number on it, but I did remember reading that domestic violence, just I guess couples were spending too much time together.
Oh, I don't doubt that.
I mean, I thought we did all right. Now my wife's version of it is different. Yeah. I mean, I was like, God, man, we got a long break. She's like, what are you talking about? Yeah. You're getting on my nerves the whole time.
She's like, don't even look at me.
The kids were like, when's he going back to work?
Yeah, you dare breathe? That's funny. Yeah, but it was, though. I'm sure that tons of people that, used work to get away didn't have that option anymore. So I'm sure it definitely happened, which is, kind of sad. I'm also sure there's a lot of kids that were born out of it, though. So there's a flip side to that coin.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, a lot of, there's probably a lot of getting on going on during the COVID times.
Bow chicka wow wow. But on the third side of that coin, there's probably a lot of people like me that put on a bunch of weight.
I think a lot of people put on weight, dude.
Yeah.
Because, you didn't have that. Don't get me wrong.
Everybody's making sourdough.
You see people out jogging and stuff, and what was funny was they were wearing masks. To me, it was funny because, like, you're out there on a trail by yourself, and you're wearing a mask. I can see, I guess you don't wear it for pollen or something, but
right,
like there ain't nobody around you.
That's high altitude training, though.
Yeah.
Athletes wear those masks to make it harder to breathe, to simulate.
If these chicks were athletes, then they would. I don't know what sport they were in.
Right. Yeah. I should have done more getting out and running around, but I was just stuck in front of the computer working, so I just pretty much ate all day and then went to bed. So I'm so glad things are opening up. I mean, I know there's a lot of people that are upset that Texas and Florida are getting rid of the mask mandates, but at some point in time, sure, there's a lot of science to it, but I mean, I watched a dude the other day take a big hit of a vape under his mask and then blow it out, and it was just billowing out of his mask. And, everybody's like, well, it's the water droplets that COVID rides on. I'm like, well, vape is all water droplets, and it was pouring out of there. I'm sure it helps because you're not blowing stuff directly on other people. But
I don't know. They don't have it down to science. I mean, how many times have they changed the regulations on it? Like they lived inside that cruise ship for 3 weeks or whatever it was.
Yeah, and I mean, you can't even blame people. The scientists are doing the best they can with what they got.
Yeah.
And everybody wants to come down and, oh, well, last week you said this. Like, okay, well, not that long ago we thought the earth was flat. So everybody calm down.
I never thought that, but yeah. I mean, but there's a lot of people, man, that really just like, and you still can't convince them.
Oh yeah.
I mean, what are you gonna do though? I mean, I got better shit to argue about than the Earth being flat.
I
So
don't. I'll talk about it all day. I've got a buddy that's a flat earther, and it's hilarious because I mean he makes solid points, and I'm like, dude, come on.
everybody, but see, that's the thing though. When somebody has something they're strong about,
Right.
normally they're going to give you some solid points that like almost want to sway you into thinking you're wrong for a minute, until you realize, what the hell am I thinking?
And that's super dangerous.
Yeah.
And flat Earth is one thing we all laugh at because we know, obviously. But I mean, you think about all the people that, just say whatever they want to about COVID.
Yeah.
Obviously COVID's dangerous, but people can say whatever the heck they want. So
yeah,
and a lot of other people will believe them.
Yeah, I mean, I had it right, and everybody's like, well, COVID's not real. Well, I don't know what the hell it was. All I know is I had something different, something I've never had before.
Yeah.
You call it what you want to call it. I don't care. But I had something, and it messed me up bad. Like, it made me sick. I was sick. I wasn't no sniffles, wasn't no little fever. I didn't even run a fever, actually. That's why they didn't want to test me.
Really?
'Cause I didn't run a fever. So, but that shot that thing right in the hole.
Yeah, right at the beginning of it, I was driving for Uber, and I picked up some guys from the airport that had come in from a foreign country, and the next week I was supposed to go back to Alabama, and I could not function.
Wow.
Like I missed lunch with a good friend of mine that morning. Got back to Alabama, and I literally laid in the bed for 3 days.
Wow.
And I had the most horrendous fever dreams. Have you ever heard of Hotel Hell? It's Gordon Ramsay's TV show. Okay. Yeah, it's bad.
Yeah.
But I could not escape this dream that I was in Gordon Ramsay's Hotel Hell. Like, I was him having to go into these hotels, and they were so terrible. And then I would wake up and be sick as a dog.
Oh.
Like, all I could do was drink water and, like, crawl to the bathroom and just explode everywhere. And I ordered pizza one night, and the guy brought it over. And I remember I, like, crawled to the door. And he was like, bro, are you okay? And I was like, no, I'm dying.
You're late, dude.
But it was before the testing.
Yeah.
So I went to the doctor, and he was like, you don't have the flu. And I was like, how do you know you didn't do a flu test? And he was like, oh, yeah. Yeah, but it's crazy. The Roper right down the street here, they ran out of flu tests. Because they were testing everybody thinking that you could find the COVID with the flu test.
Well, when was that?
That was last January.
Okay, see, I had that happen to me in March.
Okay, so that was right at the beginning of everything, too.
Well, see, but they wouldn't test me because I didn't run a fever. But, okay, so I got really sick, and I was knocked out. I mean, I was out for, like, over a week, and then breathing problems after. But they wouldn't test me because I didn't run a fever. But they did test me for the flu at that Roper right there. They did test me for the flu. They said, you don't have a flu, but you do have a virus. I said, you sure it's not that? Because if they would have tested me, I would have been the first positive in South Carolina.
Oh, dude.
If they would have tested, that would have been
so cool.
that would have been, I could have been in the books, But they wouldn't test me. So then in July, I get sick, the same exact sickness. So then they test me, and I've got it. So I'm like, see there, if y'all would have tested me in March, I could have been a 2-time runner,
Could have been patient zero right there, baby.
I'm telling you, man, I could have been that one. Like when Resident Evil starts out, they're gonna come get me and sample some shit,
What a good game, man! I can't play those games. I get too scared.
We started playing. Me and my son Jackson started playing that game, Bendy. You ever mess with that?
No.
Well, I mean, it's not my cup of tea, and I get too frustrated with that kind of stuff. But it did make me jump a couple times. It's kind of, it's kind of like cartoon looking, but it was pretty cool. He wanted to do it, and I said, you know what, I'll do it for you. But
you got to, man, Dad of the Year right there.
Yeah.
Curtis, just looked at the clock. We are 34 minutes in. How does this keep happening?
Cause, man, I'm telling you, we're digging what we're doing, man.
Well, guys, thank you so much for joining us. I hope that the new equipment sounds great. Don't forget, email us all your ideas in the shed69@gmail.com. Feel free to comment here, direct messages, Snapchat us, whatever you want to do. And thank you so much. We're signing off. I'm Judson Miller.
Curtis Burbridge.